Hello, Math 96. So these are your homework answers for Chapter 2. Please hold on to your Chapter 2 homework until I make the new digital workbook. So if you can hold on to that until Monday. So we'll upload an image of your Chapter 2 homework on Monday for period 1, 3, and 5, and on Tuesday for period 2, 4, 6. So thank you for waiting on that. Okay, so this is a picture of your 3 graphs over on the right here. So you have 3 answers. So your graphs at home should look like those. I'll do a little quick review. So this side you were supposed to graph with the table of values. So for this problem right here, I'm just going to erase this for a minute. Okay. So you were first supposed to solve for y, so that means you should have moved over the 3x by subtracting 3x to both sides. So that would be a negative 3x, negative 3x plus 5. And then you were supposed to make a t-chart, and you can choose -1, 0, and 1. And then you take those numbers and you plug it in for the x. So y would equal -3 times something plus 5. Y would equal -3 times something plus 5. We have to do that 3 times off for those numbers, right? And then if you plug in the numbers, so if you plug in a -1, a 0, and a 1, all from right here, you'll get the other answer for the y value to put in right here. Okay, so the first one would be -3 times -3 is a positive, plus 5 would be 8. So then you can plot the dot over 1 up 8, and that would be up here. The next one, -3 times 0. Let me erase this because it's in the way. -3 times 0 would be 0 plus 5 would be 5. So then you plot 0, don't move, up 5, and you get this dot. And the last one, -3 plus 5. That would be a -3 plus 5 would be a positive 2. So over 1 up 2, and you get that dot there. Okay? So that's how you should have done the work. I expect to see that for the first 2 problems. You can hit pause if you want to look at this for a minute. And I said that wrong. You need to show that work for the first 2 problems, because the first 2 were graphed with the table of values. The last problem was graph using x and y intercepts for this problem, and that's right down here. And in order to graph using intercepts, I'm going to do the work upward here just because I'm out of a little bit of room down at the bottom. So if you had 2x plus 3y equals 12, to find the x-intercept, you make y 0. So 2x plus 3 times 0 goes away, equals 12. You're just solving 2x equals 12, or x equals 6. Now remember, that means that we made the x 6 when we plugged in y for 0. So that's why we plot the point down here, because remember, we're working down here. Over 6, 0. So that would be this dot. Remember, when you graph using intercepts, you're just finding that special dot that lies on the x-axis. Now we'll find the one that lies on the y-axis. It obviously is right here. So how do we show that algebraically? And again, if you need to, you can hit pause if you need to write something down. Okay, so this time we need to find the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, you make the other letter x equal to 0. So I'm going to write the equation again. This time I'm going to make the x 0. 2 times 0 goes away. You're just solving 3y equals 12, or y equals 4. Oops. And so you're plotting the point 0, 4. Because the x we made 0, the y came out to be 4. And then 0 don't move up to 4. Okay? I always say don't move for the 0 part here. So don't move from the center, and then this is the y is either up or down, up 4. So in my head, I always say don't move, up 4. For this one over here, the dot was 6, 0, and the 6 slides right or left for x, so over 6, don't move. Okay, so make sure your work is shown on those 3 problems. Top 2 were graph using a table of values. Bottom one I just showed you for the x and y intercepts. Just let me erase this real quick. Thank you. Okay, and this should have been done on page 141 of your white note-taking guide, because there's graph paper back there for you. Okay, so the first page of that is on page 141. So this is where this piece of paper is found in the white guide that you have at home. Page 141. Here's the next day's homework. This is from section 2.1, recording day 2. Was out of the textbook. And you just had to look on the last slide of the recording because I printed it right there for you. So the directions here were to graph using slope-intercept form. Remember that is y equals mx plus b. The m is how you move, and the b is where you begin. The m is the slope. The b is the y-intercept dot. Okay, and when you move, you always move your hand to the right when you go up and over, or down and over, down and over. So the first thing you have to do is solve this one for y. So we need to pop the 4x over, so you should subtract 4x to both sides. That would leave you with negative 4x plus 3. Okay, so your m is equal to this number, so that's negative 4. And your b is equal to this number, that would be 3. So when you have just a regular integer like negative 4, you put it over 1. So how is it you're going to move? Negative 4 over 1 means down 4 over 1, and you always go to the right. Never go any other way. That's the most common mistake here. Always move your hand to the right. Okay. So then if we start at 3, 1, 2, 3, can't see, there we go. And then we count from that dot. It's this beginning dot right here, begin at 3. It's always on this y-axis. You always start graphing on the up and down axis. You always start on this line. Always start on that line to graph, okay? Don't start like we did with table of values on the x-axis. Okay, so you put your pen at 3, make a dot, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. You could keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. I mean, the line could keep going forever, right? Okay, so that's how you do the graphing using slope-intercept form. And so I do expect this work right here to show me where you solved for y on each one of these problems. This other part down here, I was trying to just lecture a little bit more. So if you need to take a picture, or you can always hit pause, right? Okay, so bring to me any questions that you have for either of these 2 homeworks when I see you next week. Thanks.